got a Billy bookshelf now. Does that make me a real booktuber? Hello everybody, my name is Danny, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the vlog where I may lose my mind. I just moved all of the, last bits of my stuff out of my parents' house, and that includes the bulk of my book collection, which is who knows how many books. I'm going to count them and give you an overall number at the end, but for now, I don't know how many books I have, but I have to get them all onto my shelves. I'm gonna flip the camera and show you just how many books I really have to deal with today. Okay, so these two shelves are what we have to put the books on. We have a smaller one that I'm going to use for my favorite authors, and then the big Billy for the bulk of my collection. But I have these two suitcases stuffed full of books, these two boxes, this duffel bag, and then I have a couple of books over on this white cubes, and then these two shelves. And I'm also going to be putting books on this shelf. You know, this is my background for my videos. Plus I have about 20-ish books that didn't fit in the previously shown boxes and suitcases, so I have to figure out what box they ended up in with my non-book stuff. So, yeah, I have to fit all of those, and Whiskey the cat is trying to get into the room, so I'll probably let her in a little bit, but it's fine. This top shelf that is all manga. Most of that is going to be going on the bottom shelf of this shelf unit, because it is my boyfriend's, and he wants to eventually get a small bookshelf to put out by his desk in the living room and put all of his books on there. So I'm just gonna put them on that bottom shelf there for keeping them out of the way. They're not gonna be in videos or anything. And then these two shelves, I want to make kind of autumny. So the top shelf, I want to do all books that are red and orange and brown to be traditional autumn colors. And then the lower shelf, I want to do black and gray and maybe some dark blue to get spooky vibes going. I think that would make a really cute background for the autumn season. And then, like I said, my small bookshelf that I have on the other wall is going to be my favorite authors, and then we'll see how I end up fitting the rest of my books on the big Billy bookshelf. Yeah, I better get unpacking and sorting just to see how many books I'm really dealing with. Okay, I need a breather because moving around a whole ton of books is a lot of work. I unpacked my two suitcases and my duffel bag, and I also found the other few books that were hidden in other boxes, and as you can kind of see behind me, I've started putting them on the shelf that I would like them to be on, even if I haven't started arranging them yet. So I'm going to just take a minute to sit and probably get something to eat before I continue, and I'll show you my progress as I keep going. Okay, so I've finished this first shelf. It's my favorite author shelf, so I just have my globe on top because I think it looks cool. Then on the top shelf, I have Cornelia Funk and Neil Gaiman. Then I have two shelves for Rick Riordan and two shelves for John Flanagan. That bottom shelf is very empty, which just shows that I have to catch up on buying his books. There are quite a few that I just never got. And then moving over to the big shelf, I've just placed books on the shelf I think I want them to go on. And so the bottom shelf is going to be series that I own all of the books in. Before anyone mentions it in the comics? No, before anyone mentions it in the comments. Yes, I am keeping my Harry Potter books. I kind of agonized over that decision for a while, and I do want to give them up one day. It's just that I have a very hard time getting rid of things. I just get very attached and can't seem to give things away, and Harry Potter was such a huge part of my childhood, like it was for a lot of people, that at this point in time, I am not ready to give up the books, but one day I will. The shelf above that is going to be books where I don't own all of the series, so it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know why I thought I was going to say more about that. Above that is going to be the standalones, and then this very, very empty looking shelf is going to be kind of like a display shelf, and I want to keep my D&D stuff there, and I have 2 other books that are just very large and kind of like display worthy. I think there's a book on astronomy and a art book about the Lord of the Rings. Above that, the upper shelf is my poetry, plays, and classics, and then below it is the everything else shelf. So it's got some craft books, some other nonfiction, some anthologies, my comics and manga are gonna go there. Probably gonna have to shuffle things around, but that's the plan anyway. And then over here, I still have yet to take my little few books off of that white cube yet. I will do that in just a moment. But I've picked out a couple of books that I want on the spooky shelf. I still have to take that sticker off of Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. That's really annoying because I think the cover's gorgeous and I want to have it facing outward. And then just down at the bottom are all of my boyfriend's books for when he wants to eventually move them out of here, and a small stack of books that I have to unhaul still. And yeah, that's how it's going. I apologize if any dogs are barking in the background of this clip, but that can't be helped. There's a lot of them outside right now. Like that. So as you saw in the time lapse that I hope I figured out how to make, if not, that sentence doesn't apply. This is how my finished series shelf turned out. The shelf is a little lower than the one I had at home, so I couldn't have the paperback Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia standing up the way I had them on top of my hardcover Harry Potter at my old house. So that's a bummer. I just realized I have to flip around the order of Chronicles of Narnia now because it has 7 on top and 1 on the bottom, and I don't like that. So this is what it looks like. It's very crowded, but I think it's fine. And these are all the books I have to fit on my unfinished series shelf. And then this little pile is ones that I think would look good on my autumn and spooky shelf for the background of my videos. So at least I took some of them off, and I'm going to put them over there. But yeah, let me get back to organizing. So I changed it a bit. After I finished the time lapse, I decided to move Inferno to the standalone shelf, even though it's technically part of a series, because I don't plan on ever getting or reading the rest of that series. I don't even know if I'm going to read Inferno, but I bought that book when I was in Italy, so I'm not giving it up. But, yeah, this is how it turned out. It's got a teeny tiny bit of room to grow, and I think this looks really good. You probably saw me struggle trying to figure out which books to put in that little stack on the left side because I have all of my tall hardcovers stacked up, and then I could fit a few of the shorter ones, and I couldn't figure out which ones would actually fit, and then I decided I didn't want Odin's Child over there because it's such a light color, it's white, and the rest of the books were kind of darker, so I was switching them out trying to figure out what looked good. And then I put Kyoshi out front because I think that cover is just gorgeous. My phone is actually dying now, so I don't think I'll be able to time-lapse the organization of the other shelves, but we'll see how it goes. So this is how the books ended up on my shelf. Up top here I have my poetry, plays, and classics, and I have these two beautiful editions of A Midsummer Night's Dream facing out because that is my favorite Shakespeare play, and I just think they're stunning. And down below is kind of a catch-all shelf. It starts off with comics and manga, then it goes into my non-English books, then a couple of random Night Vale transcripts, then my Dover thrift editions, which are just these really old editions of books that I collect, then my Star Wars novelizations, and then that stack on the right is my craft books and nonfiction mixed together. I don't really have a lot of nonfiction, so it's just like 3 of them. And then down here is like a decor shelf. I have some D&D stuff, some big beautiful books that I wanted to draw attention to, and then the stack on the right side is my anthologies. Then you guys saw these shelves already, but I changed my standalone shelf a little bit because I had to take more books off of there to put on my decorative background shelves. And then my series, both complete and incomplete. Then over here, I am so happy with how these shelves have turned out so far. So I ended up putting the spooky shelf up top and the more autumnal one down below. I did this because I originally put the spooky shelf together first on that lower shelf, and then I'm like, this looks too awesome for me not to put higher up, so I put it up there, and then I did the lower one, which still looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the gradient that I figured out, and then I faced out some books that I think fit the autumnal vibe the best. You know, like the feathers kind of remind me of leaves, and then on the 13th Tale there's just some old books, and I think they're gorgeous. And yeah, I am going to do another sweep through of my shelves after I put all of my knickknacks on, but I just wanted you guys to see what this looked like after I put all the books up. Okay, it has been quite a few hours, and I'm not totally finished, but let me show you what has been done. So up here I have my globe and some vases from Japan that I bought secondhand. Then my Cornelia Funk and Neil Gaiman. Moving down we have Rick Riordan and John Flanagan. Not much has changed, I just added a couple of things. Moving over here, we have my finished series, my unfinished series, standalones, and I'm going to pan over here for a second to show you that my owls I had to move, and instead that cube is now for all of my notebooks. The ones on the left are ones that are currently in use for some things, and the ones on the right are unused. It's pretty 50-50, proud of that balance. Moving up, we have my cute little display shelf. I put my dice tray and Keyleth and Vax on top. If you look closely, you can see that Vax actually isn't standing on his feet. He's balancing on the tips of his wings, which I think is so funny. And then I have a little pin on the side that my brother-in-law and sister got me for Christmas. And I just think the shelf is so pretty. Tucked back on the right-hand side there is just a book that kept falling over, so it goes in the back. And I know it's there, so it's fine. My miscellaneous shelf has some things on it now. And then my poetry, plays, and classics. Then all the way up at the top on the left I have some random stuff that I don't know what to do with. Then a ceramic chicken thing that I think is just so cute. I bought it for $5 secondhand, and I'm just in love. And then Shuri is staying in her box because she's a bobblehead and kept falling over, and I still wanted to place her somewhere, but I didn't want the whole box just on a shelf in front of my books, so she goes on the top of the bookshelf. And then let's pan past my desk where I'm watching Animal Crossing videos while I do this. My cubes kind of look like a mess, but I crammed all of my art stuff into the left-hand upper cube. Below that is just some clothing. Then I have my K-pop albums and some creative journal type things. And below that I have a board game and some other games and a couple of yearbooks. Then I have my binders full of notes on things from my high school and college writing stuff. I have like critique from friends and things like that. And then on top of that is stacked all of my coloring books, and then an unused binder, and then a notebook that I will actually be using to track my progress for Magical Readathon, because it's just a gorgeous notebook that I've never used. And I think that since Magical Readathon is going to be going on for a long, long time, many iterations, I'm going to use a notebook to keep track of my character and all the places she goes and the books that I read for each of the prompts and things like that. Down at the bottom, I just have two boxes full of things and my old bullet journals. And then we come to the shelves over here. So up top we have my SkiBR set, if you want to call it. Some gargoyles and pumpkins, which are just so adorable. My spooky shelf, which I'm obsessed with. And then my autumn shelf that goes from like a gold color to orange to red to brown, and the gradient is just so nice. And then the bottom shelf hasn't changed since I first showed it to you, but my boyfriend is planning on buying his bookshelf tonight because he wants to go to Target for some other stuff, so if they have one there, that's where it'll go. And the book's gonna move off the shelf, and I think I'm going to put all of my plushies down at the bottom, and maybe a little blanket if I have some space to make a little area for Whiskey, our cat, to lay down on, because she likes climbing onto shelves, so I think that'd be super duper cute. And that's it, guys. That's what my bookshelves look like right now. I'm so happy to have all of my collection together, and they're not finished. I'm probably gonna tweak them a little bit here and there until I get to a place where I'm fully satisfied. But yeah, I think they look gorgeous. I'm so happy with how they've turned out. And yeah, that's it for this vlog then, because I just wanted to show you my day setting this up. In that case, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel in order to see more content, and that way I will see you in the next video. Bye!